Success has a secret. Champions have a hidden truth. And today I'm going to reveal to you what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The difference isn't talent, it isn't luck, it isn't connections. The difference is what winners do when no one's watching. You see, there's a principle that governs all achievement, a law that determines who rises and who falls. This principle states that your public victories are always preceded by private preparation. Your moment of glory is merely the visible result of 1,000 invisible decisions. Right now, while the world sleeps, winners are awake. While others entertain themselves, winners educate themselves. While the masses seek comfort, winners seek growth. This is the fundamental truth that most people never understand. Greatness is built in isolation. Think about it. The athlete who breaks records practice for years in empty gyms. The entrepreneur who builds empires spent countless nights working while friends partied. The speaker who moves thousands refined their message in front of mirrors. What you do when no one's watching determines who you become when everyone's watching. Your private life is your real life. The person you are when nobody's around is the person you truly are. And winners understand this deeply. They know that character isn't built on stages or in boardrooms. Character is built in the quiet moments when you could easily slack off, but you choose not to. Every morning, while the world hits the snooze button, winners are already in motion. They're not motivated by applause or recognition. They're driven by an internal compass that points toward excellence. This is private discipline, the willingness to do what needs to be done, even when nobody will ever know about it. Let me share something profound with you. The difference between average people and exceptional people isn't visible to the naked eye. It's hidden in their daily routines. It's concealed in their private habits. It's buried in the choices they make when nobody's keeping score. Winners prepare when others sleep. This isn't just a metaphor, it's a lifestyle. While others dream about success, winners are actively creating it. They understand that opportunity does knock, you build the door through preparation. And this preparation happens long before the spotlight turns on. The invisible hours create visible results. What nobody sees is the early morning study sessions, the late night practice runs, the weekend strategy meetings with yourself. These unseen moments are the building blocks of seen achievements. Every private victory sets the stage for a public triumph. Preparation is the mother of opportunity. When you prepare in private, you position yourself for public success. Winners don't wait for chances. They create them through relentless preparation. They know that luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity, and they control the preparation part completely. You're building your foundation stone by stone. Each private decision adds another layer to your foundation. Skip the party to work on your goals, that's a stone. Wake up early to exercise, another stone. Read instead of watching TV, yet another stone. These stones, laid in private, eventually become the castle everyone admires. Winners reprogram their minds daily. They understand that success starts as a mental game. While others let their minds wander aimlessly, winners direct their thoughts purposefully. They feed their minds with positivity, possibility, and purpose, especially when nobody's watching. The morning ritual separates achievers from dreamers. Winners have sacred morning routines that set the tone for their entire day. They don't just wake up, they rise with intention. They don't just start their day, they design it. This mental programming happens in the quiet hours before the world demands their attention. Your self-talk in private shapes your public performance. The conversations you have with yourself when you're alone determine how you show up when you're not. Winners speak life into their dreams. They encourage themselves. They coach themselves. They become their own biggest supporter, in the privacy of their minds. Creating your mental blueprint for success requires solitude. You can't design a masterpiece in chaos. Winners understand that clarity comes in quiet moments. They use their private time to visualize their goals, plan their paths, and mentally rehearse their victories. Winners have non-negotiable routines. They don't leave success to chance or mood. Rain or shine, motivated or not, they execute their routines. These routines are their secret weapons, the daily disciplines that compound into extraordinary results over time. Small actions compound into massive results. A penny doubled every day for 30 days becomes over $5 million. The same principle applies to your habits. That extra hour of practice, that additional page read, that one more sales call, they seem insignificant in isolation, but become transformational in accumulation. Consistency beats intensity every time. Winners understand that showing up daily beats showing off occasionally. They don't seek dramatic transformations, they pursue incremental improvements. They know that the tortoise beat the hare, not through speed, but through steady, private progress. Building automatic success patterns is the winner's secret. When you repeat actions enough times, they become automatic. Winners program themselves for success by creating habits that run on autopilot. Their excellence becomes effortless because they invested in building these patterns when nobody was watching. The winners are a secret student of life. They never stop learning, especially in private. While others consume entertainment, winners consume education. They understand that the person who stops learning stops growing, and the person who stops growing starts dying. The power of continuous self-education cannot be overstated. Winners read books others ignore. They take courses others skip. They listen to podcasts others dismiss. They treat their minds like sponges, constantly absorbing knowledge that will eventually overflow into success. Turning downtime into development time is a winner's habit. Where others see boredom, winners see opportunity. Waiting in line becomes reading time. Commuting becomes learning time. Lunch breaks become growth sessions. They squeeze productivity from moments others waste. Building expertise through hidden dedication is how winners separate themselves. While others seek shortcuts, winners take the long road of mastery. They practice when nobody's counting. They study when nobody's testing. They improve when nobody's measuring. Winners train their bodies like temples. They understand that physical strength creates mental strength. The discipline required to maintain physical fitness transfers to every other area of life. When you conquer your body in private, you conquer your world in public. The connection between physical and mental strength is undeniable. Every push-up builds more than muscle, it builds character. Every mile run covers more than distance, it covers doubt. Winners use physical training as mental conditioning, especially when nobody's cheering them on. Early morning workouts build champions. There's something powerful about conquering the day before the sun rises. Winners embrace this power. They've already won a victory before most people open their eyes. This private triumph fuels public performance. How private fitness creates public confidence is simple. When you know you've done the work, you show up differently. Winners carry themselves with the confidence of preparation. They stand taller, speak stronger, and move with purpose because they've proven themselves to themselves in private. Winners evaluate themselves honestly. They don't need external validation because they practice internal evaluation. Every night, they review their day. Every week, they assess their progress. Every month, they examine their growth. This self-reflection happens away from public view. Daily reviews accelerate growth exponentially. Winners ask themselves tough questions in private. What worked? What didn't? What could I improve? How can I do better tomorrow? This honest self-assessment creates rapid improvement that others can't match. Learning from failures in private prevents failing in public. Winners dissect their mistakes when nobody's watching. They study their losses. They analyze their setbacks. They turn every failure into a lesson, ensuring they don't repeat the same mistakes when it matters most. Adjusting strategies based on self-assessment is the winner's way. They don't stubbornly stick to failing formulas. They adapt, evolve, and improve based on private reflection. This flexibility, developed in solitude, becomes their competitive advantage in public. Winners develop integrity when alone. True character is revealed when nobody's watching. Winners make the right choices even when wrong choices would go unnoticed. They understand that integrity isn't about reputation, it's about reality. The small decisions shape destiny. Winners know that life is built on thousands of tiny choices. The decision to be honest when you could lie, the choice to work when you could rest, the commitment to excellence when mediocrity would suffice. Character is built in private moments. It's easy to be good when everyone's watching. Winners are good when nobody's watching. They return the extra change. They finish the job completely. They keep their word to themselves. These invisible acts of integrity become visible signs of trustworthiness. Choosing right when no one would know is the ultimate test. Winners pass this test daily. They don't cut corners in darkness. They don't compromise in private. They maintain their standards regardless of oversight because they understand that they are always watching themselves. Winners manage money when no one's counting. Financial discipline starts in private. While others spend impulsively, winners save intentionally. While others consume carelessly, winners invest wisely. Their private financial habits create public financial freedom. Private budgeting leads to public abundance. Winners track every dollar in private so they can enjoy every dollar in public. They sacrifice in secret to celebrate in the open. They delay gratification when nobody's watching to experience satisfaction when everybody's watching. Investment habits of the successful are surprisingly simple. They invest in themselves first. Education, skills, health. They invest consistently, not dramatically. They think long-term, not short-term. These private investment decisions compound into public wealth. Building wealth through unseen sacrifices is the winner's way. They drive older cars while building newer businesses. They live in smaller homes while creating bigger dreams. They spend less on appearance while investing more in assets. These private sacrifices create public success. Winners nurture connections quietly. They understand that relationships are investments that pay the highest dividends. While others network for gain, winners connect for growth. They build relationships in private that benefit them in public. The power of handwritten notes and private gestures shouldn't be underestimated. Winners remember birthdays without Facebook reminders. They send thank you notes without expecting thank yous back. They check on people without checking for opportunities. These private acts create public loyalty. Building loyalty through consistent care is a winner's strategy. They don't just show up for the celebrations, they show up for the struggles. They don't just call when they need something, they call when others might need something. This consistent care, often unnoticed, creates unbreakable bonds. Investing in others without expectation is the winner's secret to receiving without asking. They mentor without payment. They help without reward. They give without counting. This private generosity creates public reciprocity that money can't buy. Winners connect with their inner strength daily. They understand that true power comes from within. Through prayer, meditation, or quiet reflection, they tap into a source of strength that transcends circumstances. This private practice creates public resilience. Finding clarity in quiet moments is essential for winners. They create space for silence in their lives. They turn off the noise to tune into their inner voice. They step away from chaos to step into clarity. These moments of solitude become fountains of solutions. Building resilience through reflection is a daily practice. Winners use quiet time to process challenges, not escape them. They face their fears in private so they can face their future in public. They build mental muscle through meditation that serves them in every situation. Accessing wisdom beyond the surface requires stillness. Winners know that answers often come in silence, not noise. They create quiet spaces in their schedules where intuition can speak. They listen to their inner wisdom when the outer world is silent. Winners use alone time productively. They don't fear solitude, they seek it. They understand that all growth happens outside of comfort zones, and solitude is often uncomfortable for many. But winners lean into this discomfort because they know it breeds strength. Finding yourself in quiet moments is the winner's journey. You can't hear your authentic voice in a crowd. You can't discover your true desires in chaos. Winners use solitude as a mirror, reflecting on who they are and who they are becoming when nobody's watching. Why discomfort in solitude creates strength is simple. It forces self-reliance. When you're alone with your thoughts, you must face them. When you're alone with your goals, you must own them. This self-confrontation in private creates self-confidence in public. How small private actions create public victories is the magic of compounding. Every book read adds knowledge. Every workout completed adds strength. Every skill practiced adds competence. These additions are invisible daily but undeniable eventually. The exponential growth of consistent habits is the winner's edge. A 1% improvement daily leads to a 37 times improvement in a year. Winners understand this math. They focus on small, consistent improvements in private that create dramatic transformations in public. High overnight success takes years of preparation. It's obvious to winners. They know that what looks sudden to observers was gradual to participants. The overnight success worked nights for years. The instant celebrity practiced instances for decades. Winners embrace this reality. Building momentum through invisible progress requires faith. You must believe in the process when you can't see the progress. Winners trust that their private efforts are creating public results, even when evidence is lacking. This faith fuels their persistence. Winners push limits in private. They don't wait for competitions to compete. They compete with themselves daily. They challenge their boundaries when nobody's measuring. They test their limits when nobody's timing. This private pushing creates public breakthrough. Overcoming fear without an audience is true courage. It's easy to be brave when people are watching. Winners conquer fears in private. They face their demons alone. They fight their battles in silence. This private courage creates public confidence. Building courage through solo challenges is the winner's way. They set private goals that scare them. They take on personal challenges that stretch them. They create tests for themselves that transform them. These self-imposed trials create imposed triumphs. Expanding comfort zones systematically happens in private. Winners don't wait for life to push them, they push themselves. They systematically identify areas of discomfort and deliberately engage them. This private expansion creates public excellence. Winners build legacies through daily choices. They understand that legacy isn't about grand gestures, but consistent actions. Every private decision contributes to their public legacy. They build their monuments one stone at a time when nobody's watching. How private integrity creates public impact is profound. When you're consistent in private, you're credible in public. When you're disciplined alone, you're dependable with others. Private integrity becomes public influence naturally and authentically. The ripple effect of unseen dedication spreads far. Your private disciplines inspire public demonstrations. Your hidden habits create visible results. Your secret sacrifices produce open opportunities. Winners understand that private actions have public reactions. Leaving footprints through consistent action is how winners create paths for others. They don't just succeed, they show others how to succeed. Their private journey becomes a public roadmap. Their hidden struggles become visible strategies for others to follow. Now let me issue you a call to action. Start your private revolution today. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for January. Don't wait for some day. Today in private, make a decision that changes everything. The decision that changes everything is simple. Commit to excellence when no one's watching. Decide that from this moment forward, your private life will reflect your public aspirations. Choose to be disciplined in darkness so you can shine in daylight. Creating your personal success blueprint starts now. Write down what you'll do differently when nobody's watching. Design your private routines. Plan your hidden habits. Schedule your secret sessions. Make the invisible visible to yourself first. Committing to excellence when no one's watching is your gateway to greatness. This is where champions are born. Not in stadiums, but in solitude. Not on stages, but in silence. Not in public praise, but in private practice. Remember this, what you do when no one's watching determines who you become when everyone's watching. Your private disciplines create your public distinctions. Your hidden habits produce your visible victories. The time is now. The place is here. The person is you. While others wait for witnesses, you work without them. While others seek spectators, you succeed without them. While others crave crowds, you create without them. This is the way of winners. This is the path of champions. This is the road to greatness. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's not public, but it's powerful. It's not celebrated, but it's crucial. Your greatness is calling you, but it's whispering, not shouting. It's inviting you to private excellence before public exhibition. It's challenging you to personal victory before public visibility. The question isn't whether you can do this. The question is whether you will. Will you join the ranks of winners who discipline themselves in darkness? Will you commit to excellence when no one's clapping? Will you prepare in private for the public performance of your lifetime? The choice is yours. The time is now. The work is private. The rewards are public. But remember, the work must come first, and it must come when no one's watching. This is your moment. This is your message. This is your mission. Go now and do what winners do when no one's watching. Your future self will thank you. Your public success will show it. But first, your private discipline must build it. The world is waiting for what you'll become. But before the world sees it, you must create it. Alone, in private, when no one's watching. This is the way of winners. This is your way forward. Winners understand something that average people don't. The power of consistency and obscurity. Before Michael Jordan became Air Jordan, he was just Mike, shooting free throws in an empty gym. Before Oprah became a household name, she was reading books by candlelight. Before Steve Jobs changed the world, he was tinkering in a garage. The pattern is clear. Private preparation precedes public presentation. Let me tell you about the compound effect of private excellence. When you commit to doing one thing excellently in private every day, something magical happens. That one thing multiplies. It expands. It influences other areas of your life. The person who reads for 1 hour privately soon finds themselves thinking more clearly publicly. The person who exercises alone develops discipline that shows up everywhere. Winners create what I call invisible momentum. They build speed when nobody's tracking their velocity. They generate force when nobody's measuring their impact. This invisible momentum becomes visible success, but only after months or years of private acceleration. Most people quit during the invisible phase. Winners persist through it. The psychology of private excellence is fascinating. When you perform without an audience, you're performing for the most important audience of all, yourself. This builds authentic confidence. You're not confident because others say you're good. You're confident because you know you've done the work. This internal validation is infinitely more powerful than external validation. Winners also understand the principle of rehearsal reality. What you rehearse in private becomes your reality in public. Athletes visualize perfect performances alone before executing them in competitions. Speakers practice presentations in mirrors before delivering them to audiences. Musicians play pieces in practice rooms before performing them in concert halls. Your private rehearsals determine your public reality. Here's something profound. Winners embrace what I call productive isolation. They don't isolate themselves from the world. They isolate themselves for the world. They step away to step up. They retreat to advance. They go inward to expand outward. This productive isolation is where transformation occurs. The economics of private investment are compelling. Every hour you invest in yourself privately pays dividends publicly. Every dollar you spend on personal development in secret creates wealth in the open. Every effort you make in solitude multiplies in society. Winners understand this ROI of private investment. Let me share the winner's paradox. The more you develop yourself in private, the less you need to prove yourself in public. True confidence whispers while insecurity shouts. Winners work in silence and let success make the noise. They build in private and let results speak publicly. Winners also practice what I call anonymous excellence. They do excellent work even when nobody will know they did it. They finish tasks completely even when nobody's checking. They maintain standards even when nobody's watching. This anonymous excellence becomes their signature, whether their name is on it or not. The transformation happens in the transition. The transition from who you are to who you're becoming occurs in private moments. It's in the quiet morning hours when you choose growth over comfort. It's in the late evening moments when you choose preparation over relaxation. It's in the weekend hours when you choose development over entertainment. Winners understand the power of private promises. The commitments you make to yourself when nobody's listening are the most important commitments you'll ever make. When you keep promises to yourself privately, you build the integrity to keep promises to others publicly. Your private word becomes your public bond. Here's what separates winners from everyone else. They compete with themselves in private before they compete with others in public. They set personal records when nobody's recording. They break their own barriers when nobody's watching. They challenge their limits when nobody's cheering. This private competition creates public champions. Winners know that excellence is a private habit before it's a public result. You can't be excellent occasionally in public if you're not excellent consistently in private. Excellence isn't an act, it's a habit. And habits are formed in the hidden hours of private practice. The time between who you are and who you want to become is filled with private decisions. Each decision either moves you closer to or further from your destination. Winners make these decisions based on their goals, not their moods. They choose based on their vision, not their emotions. These private choices create public changes. So here's my final challenge to you. Become a master of the unseen. Dominate the darkness. Conquer the quiet. Win the war that nobody's watching. Because when you do, you'll win the battles that everybody sees. Your greatness is not in your public appearances, but in your private appearances. When you show up for yourself when nobody else is around. when you honor your commitments to yourself in secret, when you push yourself in solitude, when you persist in privacy. Now go and win in private so you can shine in public. The journey begins when you close this message and open your commitment to private excellence. Your greatness awaits, but first your discipline calls. Remember, winners do what losers won't, especially when no one's watching. Be a winner. Start now. Start privately. Start powerfully. Your time is now. Your stage is private. Your audience is yourself. Perform accordingly.